to the computer. Hello and welcome to Planet Raygun, Shadow of a Ghost. Is that what this one is called? I think so. It's the campaign playtest of Planet Raygun. We are at episode 6, the perfect jumping on point for new viewers of the program as we start a classic, iconic Planet Raygun heist, the Crime Palace. Stugg Kibeo's Crime Palace, the Crime Palace of Stugg Kibeo. I don't know what sounds more dramatic, but it's one or the other or both. We'll get into that shortly. We uh, we have just escaped Terranor. It's been a little while. I think we'll just like move the calendar up. We've been floating through space. Formerly, the crew has taken on Fix, and Fix has gone through a little bit of a career change. Or at least on paper, may have always been part of this career. And I think there have been some indications that Fix is also what we call a fix stitch, kind of the doctors of the Starways, well versed in both the biological and the mechanical, and often getting the two confused. You want to tell us a little bit about Fix as a fix stitch,
Sure.
Mr. Van Vliet?
So we already saw a flashback that showed that Fix got established in the criminal world by doing a transplant for Stugg Kibeo. So we sort of already had in their background that they had a fair amount of medical knowledge. When we first met them, they were in a curator phase where they had these diamond eyes that were showing them when the universe was going to end, and they were obsessed with the idea of collecting DNA and samples in order to create an arc that would survive the death of this universe and carry it into the next. Unfortunately, they also had one of those fancy eyes plucked out by their personal nemesis the last time that we hung out, and that has really thrown off that whole plan. I think with one diamond eye, you can't tell how long the universe has left. Off camera, this led to a crisis of conscience about the utility of the entire program, and I think that's got Fix settled back into some of his old ways, such as experimenting with his own eye socket to mess around with what some other replacements might be like, getting back into playing around with, again, that overlap between the biological and the robotic, raising more funds by getting back to doing similar experiments with prosthetics and improvements for various clientele. And as Fix has joined the crew, he's also rolled in a fancy new machine onto the ship, which he offers death insurance, which is a new function of the playbook.
Yeah. Well,
That's most of it.
yeah, we'll talk about death insurance in a little bit. The crew have also completed two heists at this point, so have been accumulating some experience. And are there any upgrades that our characters have gone through, or downgrades of their conditions, or so on and so forth?
I can't get rid of any of my conditions because one, I like them, and two, that doesn't really apply. So I am going to actually spend 5 XP and
Whoa.
increase my composure by 1. I think that now that I'm a vampire, I'm a little more composed and a little less erratic. Um, and I'm going to play into that, hopefully. We'll see. So now my
Makes sense.
composure is +1.
Cool.
They do say that vampires are like the capybara of the monster world,
They
just
do.
unfazed.
I've heard that once or twice
I've only
from
ever heard
they.
it from Michael.
Must be an American thing.
Trying to make it catch on.
I will also
Um,
spend 5 XP and up my reason by 1.
ooh, a reasonable man.
Sometimes.
Anything from Leland, or are you just hoarding that big pile of DigiCredit?
think I'm gonna hoard for right now.
All right, makes perfect sense. Um,
We've also added a wormhole generator to our ship.
that's right. We have traded our loot, which was that little sample from Devoid, and we have purchased a wormhole generator. It was between that and mattresses for the bunks, and we decided that a wormhole generator would be better value, presumably.
Down to the wire it was. I like the idea that Fix used to have like a personal wormhole that was used to access his other dimensional collection. I kind of like the idea that maybe that's a power source. He's just not as interested in it anymore, and so has donated it to our thrown together wormhole generator.
Cool. With that, let's talk about this episode or this new arc of Planet Raygun. Stugg Kibeo's Crime Palace. Stugg Kibeo rules over the galaxy's most notorious miscreants. As the sun rises on his expanding empire of knavery, a small band of space heroes reach orbit, ready to eclipse the star of the underworld. The Kibeo Syndicate recently earned the title of Most Dangerous Criminal Enterprise in the Galaxy, making them a certifiably terrible target for a heist. Centrally commanded in a crater city on the dwarf planet of Z976, the Syndicate is run by overboss Stugg Kibeo. Just a really nasty piece of work. To celebrate the Syndicate's new status, Kibeo ordered the theft of the Helio Shroud from a dear friend of yours, Princess Dash. And now, that priceless emblem of space royalty hangs encased in the upper suite of Stugg Kibeo's Crime Palace. It all seems like a massive dare, doesn't it? Um, with that, we're going to kick into our overture. This one is, yeah, the pathway to Z976. The crew went through an ordeal just to arrive in Criterion City, where Stugg Kibeo's crime palace is located. As this leg of the adventure opens, we see snapshots of the moments that lead to it. The first question is going to be for Fix. You've arranged a clandestine meeting with an important association contact, Princess Dash. Where have you arranged for the meeting to take place, and how did your connections help you arrange it?
Uh, I think there are rental offices for traveling medical professionals. So you can just sort of book them for the day. They've got staff that are always there so that you can get the coffee taken care of, the paperwork, the insurance billing. So just set up a quick office, faked an appointment with Princess Dash, and then we've got the whole doctor-patient confidentiality field up so that we can talk honestly and openly about what our plans are.
Yeah. For the rest of the crew now, as Princess Dash and Fix are within their doctor-patient confidentiality bubble, discussing how to return the Helio Shroud to her, it becomes clear to you that raiders have been tipped off. How do you help fend off the raiders long enough to get Princess Dash out safely?
Well, that wormhole generator could come really handy for that. I don't know how, but shit.
Oh,
Leland suggests the wormhole generator.
I think Leland takes the wormhole generator and points it towards Jane Doe 2.0 and turns it on. And the next thing you see is Jane Doe 2.0 zooming out of a wormhole, cape flapping behind her, and her teeth just bared, and she dives into one of the raiders, teeth sinking into his neck, and suddenly he's just a husk of bloodlessness. Bloodlessness. Yes, that's the word.
I I think with the odds that this would happen were always going to be high, and Carlisle always plays the odds. So there was some subtle home aloneing before this meeting
Oh,
even set up.
nice. Yeah.
He just sits back and lets the others do the bulk of the work. He knows he's done the prep.
Just paint cans everywhere.
Did doorknobs. Don't have doorknobs, but that's beside the point.
Maybe in the medical offices they have doorknobs.
Yeah, it's a sign of luxury.
Yeah. So Michael slash Fix, if you would like to roll 3 bond dice and assign those based on the responses there.
2 6s and a 1.
The one you may re-roll.
Thank you. It's now a 2. It's determined to stay down there. Uh, all right. I think I'm going to give our 2 6s to Hijack and Leland, and a 2 to Jane.
Do you want to tell us why? Or
Yes. I feel like vampirism is kind of a one at a time raider solution, and it's thinking too small. We
fair,
need we need big ideas. We need so many doorknobs, paint cans, and wormholes.
fair enough. The next act of our overture is for Leland. As you approach the planet of Z976 after you have escaped, you realize that another group of raiders have been following you at some distance. How do you make sure the raiders know that you're onto their presumed plan to hijack your ship? To hijack.
Um, there's a moment where on this rival raider ship where they sense something on the hull, something a disturbance, and one of them goes out to check it, in their suit, and uh, when they check it, they see Leland has graffitied the side of their ship with his signature zero with the X through it logo.
Ooh, intimidating. That said, for the rest of the crew, the desperate raiders immediately close the gap and attempt to overwhelm your ship. What do you do during the ensuing skirmish?
I released Gerald the vulture. He's flying around and plucking out eyeballs. It's all eyeball plucking around here.
Hmm.
Dropping them off to fix his feet.
Oh.
Fix
What
doesn't
few
take it over.
raiders
Go on.
what few raiders manage to get back to their own ship are surprised when the captain's chair turns around slowly and it's Carlisle with a pistol.
Lovely.
I think
Whatever
that
the oh,
sorry, I'll be quick. I think that Fix works to send medical bills to every last one of the raiders for all of the cleanup that's going to be required after, both for patching them up and for damage inflicted, since
Hmm.
it was done with surgical precision.
Fix is looking to profit off of this
Yes.
situation.
hmm
Um,
If they don't pay it, it's fine. It can go to collections. I'm not really concerned. We will get paid one way or the other.
Jack slash Leland, roll those bond dice and tell us how you assign them.
okay.
If you are telling.
It's very good, just going very slow. Sorry.
Okay. The dice have gone through the wormhole.
I've gone through the wormhole.
Mm.
So if I roll a one, I can re-roll that as well, or
Yes, correct. Yeah.
okay. So I have a 4, a 6, and a 2. So with a 4, a 6, and a 2, I'm gonna go ahead and uh I'm gonna go ahead and give Jane the 6 because that's the homegirl. I'm going to give Hijack the 4. We still have a bit of a bristly relationship, but we've been through it. Um, we know that we're good. And Fix gets the 2. He's fresh meat. He's new. I can't really vet for him just yet. He's really got to prove himself. And he looks at it weird. Those diamond eyes. It's hard to really kind of get a sense of uh his allegiances, his expression.
Multifaceted eyes tell many lies. And yeah, that's what I got. Okay. Hijack. Having thwarted the raiders, the crew lands on Z976, far from Criterion City itself. This has you confronting one of the planet's most aggressive forms of wildlife. Describe that creature for us. What vulnerabilities do you instruct the crew to exploit?
The creature is known as a muffin top to the locals,
Mm-hmm.
but outside of that, it's actually known as a bone cruncher.
Oh.
No one's entirely sure why this disparity exists, but the fun thing about it is, aside from the very large, very flat teeth that they use to crunch and pulverize bone, their nervous system is actually mostly on the outside. So it's very easy to target a weak, where you can see the bundles of nerves
Mm-hmm.
just underneath the slight bit of bony armor they have. And luckily, like in all good media, they glow a little. Makes it very easy to target
Um,
them.
as easy as Carlisle tells you this is, rest of the crew, how does pursuing the creature's vulnerability go wrong for you? And who do you look toward for help?
Strangely enough, these creatures don't have blood. And as such, I don't really get a good sense of where they are when they're in the area. And I rely on that to be more effective at battle. And I think I look to Leland because Leland's my buddy and he's the one that has the most guns.
I do have guns, and I use them. Unfortunately, those big flat teeth are good at crushing bones, crunching them rather. Um, and so, in my attempt to shoot it and dismantle its nervous system, I of course get the muffin top, which means it starts crunching on my hips, trying to chew at the love handles in an attempt to feast upon my pelvic bones.
Oh no.
Um, and it's looking pretty grim there for a while, from the waist down anyway. But in a strange turn of events, Fix is there uh, to hopefully adjust and realign my spine.
Well, it turns out the easiest thing is to use a remix scalpel at the base of the teeth and remove them all in one piece. So for a little while, you've got a array of teeth in a hula hoop sort of hoop dress structure as we pull you clear of the mouth. But I think the thing that Fix struggles with is a fascination with the rest of the creature and sort of like sets Leland aside and then starts picking up various sampling tools out of like pockets and whatnot, and going back to the creature, hoping that he can anesthetize it enough that he can explore and see if there's anything worth keeping on the thing while ignoring the whole rest of the situation. A little bit of hyper fixation. What a fascinating creature.
Carlisle, you've been sitting back and observing all of this. Roll those bond dice and tell us how you've assessed the situation.
It is 2 5s and a 2.
Ooh, this two is inescapable so far.
I will give the 5s to Fix and Jane. And as mentioned, still got a bit of a frosty relationship with Leland, and also really disappointing almost letting yourself get bone crunched. Just can't trust a uh, a traveler like that.
I can't help it. I
Mm.
have delicious bones.
um, Having resolved this situation, we cut forward to the descent. Jane, Criterion City lies at the base of a crater rim where it's normally accessed via spaceport. You're avoiding Syndicate records by entering from the cliff wall. How do you lead the crew on an adrenaline pumping descent to the base of the crater?
I think we're rappelling down the side, and Gerald the vulture is circling above us, watching from above to make sure that we're getting the right footholds. But I'm the one going first. I'm putting the thingies in the wall so that we can climb down safely. And I think at one point we realize in the crater face there are holes, and these creatures start to swarm out. They're sort of like if bats were also worms. They're winged worms with little
Hmm.
tiny legs that are swarming out and crawling all over us. And I think I take my cape and start swatting at them to try and get them off of my friends. At one point, I lose hold of the repelling wire and I go crashing down, but I'm caught by one of my colleagues. Uh, it's probably Leland because we're buddies, and Leland catches me, and I go swinging into the cliff face with a sickening crash, and that crash scares all the worm creatures away, and we're able to get down safely.
Hmm. For the rest of the crew, as you are making this descent, and I think probably running into these worm creatures repeatedly, who have made homes in the cliff walls, the descent is just taking a lot longer than expected. What do you see from this vantage point that reminds you of home? And what story do you tell the rest of the crew about it?
Well, I confess that I've not always been this dashing, debonair punk that you see before me or before you. Um, you know, I had a hard life, but a lot of that was self-inflicted. Like many punks, I did grow up coming from affluence, coming from privilege, and of course became a punk to sort of earn my own way and to sort of rebel against my family and the obligations that came with it. Um, but you know, as a rich kid, I often had many governesses who came and went, mostly because of my behavior. But my favorite governess was a batworm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, she was strict but fair. She taught me a lot about myself, about the world. Um, she, of course, did try to eat me at some point, but
Hmm.
you know, again, I have delicious bones.
I've got something if you're still thinking, Ben.
Please.
It's like two things actually. One is the idea. So in fiction, Leland is telling us this story as we're coming down about a batworm nanny, right? My reminds me of
Governess, but
home
yes.
thing is I think Fix at the prospect of having to listen to anybody's story about their childhood is like sneaking himself a relaxant, just like popping a pill really quick and letting his eyes roll back. And that just reminds him of mornings at home. His parents were big into casual pharmaceutical use, especially when the children were getting rambunctious. And it's just as this warm blanket feeling wraps around him, he's like, this is how mom used to feel. And she was right. This is so much better than putting up with any of this. The other thing that I thought was the moment that Jane does her terrifying kabong against the side of the cliff, Fix, under the influence of a mild relaxing narcotic, doesn't realize how inappropriate it is to decide that this is the moment to point out that the experimental eye he currently has actually has a music storage and playing capability, and he swears that he's got a song that has a percussive element that sounds just like that sound, and he starts doing like a really weird eye wink, and you start hearing really tinny music coming out of one eye as he's forwarding tracks through trying to find the one that has this particular matching kabong sound until I think the eyes on him finally make him realize now is not the moment to be going through his music collection, and just has to keep one eye shut for a while until it recognizes and goes into sleep and standby mode.
Carlisle is thinking about the towering buildings of Criterion City as they're going down, and he had relatively humble beginnings on his home world in his home universe. And he spent a couple of years in his 20s actually as a window washer on tall buildings just like that. And he's telling his companions about his time there and the people that he used to work with. And it was such a shame how often not all of them came back down, especially the annoying ones. And he'll look over at Fix.
Uh, Jane, you love a little dose of biological nostalgia. Roll those Bond dice and tell us what we find.
So I did roll a one. I know I can re-roll that, but it counts for watch, right?
No, ones in the overture are just
Okay.
what they are. Yeah. You can keep it if you want, but you don't have to.
A three, a five, and a six. I am going to give Fix the three because I don't trust anyone who has music playing out of their eyeball.
Fair.
I'm going to give Leland the six because he saved my life. And I'm going to give Hijack the five because all of that practice going up and down the tall buildings has really helped out in this rappelling down a cliff face situation.
And with that, we have reached the base of the crater. We are in the midst of Criterion City. We can see Stugg Kibeo's crime palace towering above the rest of the city. It is a giant sphere that has these triangular pillars all around, and the palace itself has this huge wall around it. That's right, the crime palace is really more of a walled fortress, and that wall is going to be your biggest obstacle. However, Stugg Kibeo's suite, where the Helios Shroud is actually located, is at the top of the palace, with only a single heavily surveilled elevator leading to it. Once you're in the suite, which is where the Helio Shroud is, the problem will be that you are surrounded by every gang and syndicate member in the city and need to get out. And there is the fact that you will need to ascend these crater walls to get away. And as we have learned, there are wormbat nannies, governesses, hiding within the walls. So that's the overview here of the score itself. What we'll do is we will take a 10-minute break. And you can select your heist kit to quickly review again what everyone's capabilities are. Jane, you get to select 2 items, plus you get to keep one empty as a thing that you can pick, you can manifest in the heist scenario itself. Leland, you get 3 of the normal ones. You also have this Gilberry urine that you have saved. Oh, that was something that we didn't do. So if you want to grab something from the blood banks, you get to take any exploit from that. So anything that's physical, essentially, and add it to your personal cargo. And you may select one of those items as your third kit item. Feel free to, you can always pick 3 of the normal stuff things as well. Um, Hijack, you get to choose one from the blue list, which is the extra special weird stuff. And then Fix, you are the new one. Oh, you have Accelerate Plus as your third item. Accelerate Plus is a. Do you want to
Miracle
describe
of
it?
modern science.
Yeah, it is.
Cutting edge stuff. Take everything you know about pharmaceuticals, throw it in the trash. Out of date. Acceleroid Plus beats the pants out of all of them. With Acceleroid Plus, in one convenient pill, you can maximize every single element of your life. Just boosts any stat, ability, anything that you can set your mind to, you can manage with Acceleroid Plus. There is a slight downside, which is you might draw attention to yourself doing superhuman things that nobody else could regularly do. But non-addictive. It was very important that we managed to make it non-addictive. It's gonna hurt us in the market, but regulations.
To translate that for the players at home, Fix can give you a dose of Accelerate Plus, and it allows you to roll any number of dice that you want on a move. And we do mean any. So you've got that, and then I think the decision for you to make here, aside from your other 2 items of kit fix, is who you want to apply death insurance to. So death insurance is essentially Fix is going to create a backup of one of you, and if you fail a roll, you can accept the consequences of that death, and the backup can come and take care of things for you. We will go through that when and if it happens, but we do need to pick one character to make that clone of. So that's what you'll do. We will meet back again at the top of the hour here, and yeah. See you then. And we're back from our break, which is a split second for the viewers at home, but here we are. Fix has been secretly concocting a backup of Leland Zero. And with that, we head out into Criterion City. As we described, like the palace is in not necessarily the center, but it's the sort of like center point of the city. within this expansive crater, there is bustling commerce stretching to every edge. It's dawn right now, and the planet's slow rotation means it'll remain that way for weeks. It the sky is purple and orange and pink from all of the dust of this desert blasted planet of Z976. And one of the things you quickly realize, and you've probably been briefed on as well, is that Kibeo prohibits buildings over 2 stories high. So every street has a great view of the palace towering above it. Um, some of the things that you would know, kind of like the hot spots for activity as you are getting things prepped for the heist itself, would be the old jail. This was a jail that was shut down after Stugg Kibeo took control. It is still um, um, the syndicate freed all of the residents, the prisoners, to ensure their loyalty, but instead the old jail has become this like hotspot for contraband and like underground below the underground of Criterion City. Um, there are also the port clubs just outside the port zone. There would be this large open plaza with clubs on every side. The syndicate owns most of them, and that's kind of a nice way that when gangs come here to cash in their bounties, cash in their tickets, their jobs, that kind of thing, they will often go to the port clubs and just spend all of that money, which comes right back into the hands of the Cabello Syndicate. The final thing that I would note here is the Zoologic Elementorium. These 4 giant glass terrariums where Cabello exhibits a menagerie of creatures from around the universe, and they're themed around the elements of earth, fire, wind, and water. Um, Not the band, but the elements. Yes. And it's actually these, because they are glass, are 6 stories tall. So a little bit taller than the walls of the palace and the other buildings around it. Um, so let's check in with everybody as you are spreading out in Criterion City to gather information, gather assets, flaws, exploits for the job ahead. What do you think you're pursuing? Where are you headed? Who are you looking for, et cetera, et cetera?
There has to be at least one person who had been released from the prison that is now engaging in contraband trade at the prison who doesn't like Cabello. So I've got to
Oh,
go see
yes.
if I can find somebody like that in
Okay,
the prison.
making got it. Cool.
I think Fix would probably head to the port clubs because based on the flashback we already had, I think he's a somewhat familiar face.
Hmm.
Uh, so it wouldn't be unusual for him to be looking for clientele there.
Okay.
The menagerie is Stugg's like pride and joy. Am I, he feels strongly
Um,
about it,
he probably does feel strongly about what he has collected here.
which means he might have a way direct from his palace to it without having to worry about the hoi
Uh,
polloi.
uh-huh,
So,
uh-huh.
gonna see if I can scope out anything useful there.
Yeah, cool.
Um, I mean, Leland, as you know, is a man of the people.
Hmm, hmm.
Um, and maybe you can give me more direction on this, but is there a place that he would presume some of the staff from the Crime Palace might haunt or might
Yeah. I would say like of those options that I've laid forth, like the port clubs probably feels like the place. Like that is all like run by the
Okay.
syndicate. It is kind of like the social space. And I think when syndicate members are getting off of their shifts working for this crime syndicate, they would probably go hang out in the port clubs as well, or
And
perhaps the zoologic elementorium if they're just looking for a moment of peace and quiet around deadly beasts that have been gathered into
yeah,
giant
no,
glass
Leland doesn't do
terrariums.
peace and quiet. We know that.
Right, right.
So he's going to accompany Fix,
Yeah.
whether he likes it or not.
Um, let's start there then. The two of you are you like side by side? Are you going in this as a going into the port clubs as a pair, or are you uh, separating it within the port clubs and just bumping into each other from time to time? What's your approach here?
Yeah, I'll let
Or how
Leland
does
take the
each
lead on.
character want to approach it?
Yeah, because I think if Fix knew that Leland was going, he would probably spend the whole time talking about how death insurance works and not to be concerned at all. While also asking, how often do you feel like your personality changes? I'm just asking about bandwidth here for the updates that are going back to the ship. Uh, so yeah, would Leland put up with that or suggest splitting up at some point before they actually reach
I
the
think he
clubs?
no, I think he's Leland's a simple guy, and I don't think he catches on to the fact that any of this is going into the upload that will flesh out his duplicate. So I think we'll just entertain the questions. And I imagine, we're that line of questioning is probably continuing on as we enter the facilities. So I'm
Yeah,
not,
like slipping a payment card while going like this to the
yeah,
person who's trying to like check IDs at the door or whatever. Like, oh,
yeah.
1 second, 1 second. So what you have to understand, right, is that we've essentially built a relay going from here all the way back to the ship, so that moment to moment we're getting the most up to date version of you.
And the two of you are chatting as you are walking underneath these giant neon signs. There are inebriated ruffians kind of bouncing off of each other and maybe puking alongside the curb. And there's just like a smoky haze to the entire space here.
So
Um,
wait, you mean to tell me that this thing is gonna have me inside of it? Do I have to wait until I'm dead to have it?
I'm afraid so. Much as
Okay.
I would love to have more than one Leland going around, I did swear the clonical oath. And by the terms of the oath, I'm not allowed to activate a duplicate while the source is still alive.
Come on, man. I mean, you're on a ship with a bunch of thieves, we're not
Well,
necessarily.
property's not real,
I
but
mean, we're not really.
personhood.
Well, I mean, it's my personhood if I give you permission to wake it up.
and you hear someone say, "There are eyes everywhere, lad." And you turn and you see this woman with a white lab coat that is crusted in bronzed guts. She has thin hair and she is wielding a scalpel as she kind of like almost like a wand as she notes this to Leland.
Not the face. Uh, oh, uh, hello.
Hello there. I see another practitioner of the craft has joined us here,
That's
looking at
so
things.
interesting that you prefer the Verspici grasp on your scalpel. How did you come to have that as your preference?
Oh, the Volante grasp is never quite as quick and efficient, even though it may be more precise. And speed really is the necessary element for work done in a place such as this. And you see, like she just like You are walking by this guy who is just like hurling out his guts, and she just very quickly like foop, foop, and like pulls out like a kidney from his body, and says like, "Ugh, this one's not going to work," and just kind of like tosses it on the ground.
I see what you mean about speed. You may be making a convert of me.
No offense to our review. This is all very boring to me. Fix. I'm gonna get a drink. Maybe consider what I said about, waking it up early. But you just keep this one away from it. I want both my kidneys, all four of them.
I
And
will give your request all the consideration that it's due.
very good. And Leland will slap him on the ass and keep going. He's gonna go to like the bar to
Yeah,
carouse.
help me paint the scene here for Leland, everyone. You have heard of one of the clubs in the port clubs before. Um, which and why?
There is a particular club. It doesn't have a name, and nobody really knows where it is. It's a very secret club. That's where all the reclusive geniuses go. I know about this because the reclusive genius who created me used to go to this club.
Mm.
Um, there is a series of clues that you can follow to get the location, but you have to know where to start. And that's the big secret is where to start the trail
Mhm,
to
mhm,
Dan Brown
mhm.
it. Yeah.
Symbologies.
Yep.
Carlisle is passingly familiar with the club called House, and it's a quiet club. There's not a lot of dancing, not a lot of loud music, but they do serve the best, most comforting teas around.
Mm.
Of course, there's also Last Stand, which was built around the site of a drug massacre. Uh, and they made it part of their decor so that the bottles behind the bar all leave gaps for the bullet holes that are still there in the back wall.
Leland, does any of these sound intriguing to you, or is there another one that you know of that will be the spot that you visit?
As much as the bullet riddled one sounds fun. Um, Not necessarily the one full of nerds, though. I think he's gonna go to the Witch and Why. It's
Ooh.
a bar run by space warlocks.
Mm. So which in that way, in that spelling. So you are headed there, and this this woman in the white lab coat kind of turns to you, Fix, and says, "Dr. Quantum,
These
you may
days,
have heard of me." And she points her scalpel at this giant billboard of like a smiling like Dr. Quantum that says like all your surgeries done for free. Um, yeah.
I'm going under the moniker of Fix. You probably have not heard of me.
Oh, so you've just taken the first part of our profession and turned it into your name.
Here's the thing. I work with some sort of dim people, and I find that it simplifies things.
I suppose it does. What kind of surgeries are it? Are it that you most enjoy?
Oh gosh, where
She
to
cuts out
start?
another kidney from
Yeah.
another fellow, and she's looking at it, and
Now wait, that one wasn't half bad. I mean, now that it's in the gutter, less so. But Speed is not everything, Dr. Quantum. Sometimes you really need to study a thing.
It's
Uh,
true. It's true. And
certain,
I've been studying you this entire time.
it really hasn't been a lot of time.
I work fast, as I mentioned earlier. I can't get organs quite as clean as yours in a place like this.
Where can we get the clean organs? You've intrigued me, madam.
Well, your companion, in fact, I would presume that you may have some others that you're with. Let me say, if
That's
any of you don't make it out, I'll make the trip worth it for the rest of you. Just get the bodies to me.
hmm, some off the books organ donation. Hmm?
Indeed.
The gentleman that you saw accompany me a little while ago, he has some problems with impulse control. It is not impossible that we might be able to make something work here.
Um, I
Could I
appreciate
also
that.
note that with regards to your scalpel technique, one thing that might speed things up, have you considered an ancillary pinky?
I have considered it. I have not embraced it quite yet. But do make the case for me. Um, and we'll cut over
Yeah, he's
here.
like, picture this.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Um, take the task condition organs for Dr. Quantum. And if you can get Dr. Quantum organs, you will complete this task and get some stuff. Um, let's cut to the old jail. Um, Jane Doe 2.0, you are headed into this space. It is uh, sort of this labyrinth of twisting tunnels and crumbling walls. And as you are moving through, you hear noises from every corner, whispers. Perhaps you even hear a little bit of like Terranors or Machina. I'm not quite sure. There are eyes on you as you move through this space. You have a history with one of the former prisoners. Who and why aren't you on great terms?
One of the former prisoners used to work for my creator, and she was framed by the creator, and I helped my creator frame her for the murder of one of Stugg Kibeo's sidekicks, I suppose, henchmen.
Hmm.
Uh, in reality, my creator arranged the murder because they had something that Stugg Kibeo had stolen from my creator, and my creator wanted it back. I don't know what the item was,
Hmm.
but I am always there to serve.
Are you at all worried about her being here or the potential of her being here?
I think before I was a Terranors, I might have been. I might have been concerned, but now I'm much more composed and less anxious about anything because
Yeah.
I can just kill people.
All right, then.
Before I
Um,
had more of a conscience.
as you are like moving your way through the old jail, you are seeing this sort of like classic like painterly graffiti that says like Trunga's turf. This is Tort Town now. Things like that. And you are piecing together from the graffiti that there is someone or something that goes by the name Trunga Tort that is trying to assert some dominance of the old jail. Um, and yeah, I think as you like continue progressing through this space, again, you are hearing these whispers, these you're sensing these eyes on you. What are you doing?
I'm not making any effort to conceal myself. I'm very clearly people recognize what I am, and I am going to lean into that and hope that it's a little bit on the fascinating or intimidating side. And then I'm going to go up to whoever happens to cross my path first and ask where this Tort person is.
Yeah, you come upon this um fellow, this very large fellow with chunky goggles, wearing all black leather, has these hefty boots, and says, "How do you know who Trungatort is?"
His name is all over the walls.
Oh, yeah. uh, uh, yeah, that's kind of a new addition to the place. I'm not like when do you want to meet with Trunga?
Immediately.
She wants to meet me now. And um in walks Trunga Tort. Before there was Stugg Kibeo, there was Trunga Tort. Just this hulking mass of muscle, gristle, and intimidation. Um Seems to have auxiliary muscles that have been attached to his body. Are they decorative? Are they functional? Who's to say? Not the kind of person that you would want to test as far as that's concerned. Has the classic heavy jaw and is just wearing a tank top. Um, and kind of
He's Donald Ducking in.
stomps in and says, "It's been a long time."
You seem to be doing well for yourself.
I am. You can tell from the graffiti. I rule this place now.
Yes, a good friend of mine has taught me the rules and symbolism in graffiti. And I see that, well, your name is all over the inside of this prison, but I haven't seen it anywhere else in the city.
That's because Stugg thinks he runs Criterion. But
Hmm.
rest assured, this is Trunga's city. Ask anyone. As long as they're not those syndicate goons.
Speaking of the syndicate, how would you like to help me pull one over on them?
I'd love to help anyone pull one over on them, but it's gotta be a good plan. I don't deal with crappy plans.
And I don't make crappy plans. And I do a little smile so we can see my new fangs.
I didn't know they let your kind off of Terranors.
I'm special. Very special.
Hmm.
Now tell me, this wall around Stugg's palace, what do you know about it?
Why should I tell you anything about a wall? A wall that doesn't belong to me, but should someday.
Well, if it's going to be yours someday, then you probably know everything about it.
Yep, that's right. You got it. Pinned it.
Maybe I can help you get it.
Hmm.
Little tit for tat. You help me, I help you.
Give me a investor. What is it called in this? It's not investigation. Sorry. Oh my gosh, my own game. So
Collection.
many terms for this. Collection roll. With presence.
All right. 8.
An 8. Um, Um, Trunga is kind of like looking at you and says, "You're Terranors, but you're also Machina."
I contain multitudes,
Hmm.
or at least two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The wall contains multitudes as well.
Hmm.
And Trunga's just like frozen thinking. um, let's cut back because I'm to be transparent, I'm working through a complication here. Um, let's go over to Hijack. Hijack, you are headed to the Zoologic Elementorium. These four towering glass terrariums, and you are looking up at them as you walk through this space, and you are seeing that there are just these winding skywalks that wrap all around these things. There are feeding stations where there are laughing children inserting little tidbits for the creatures inside to nibble on. Um, you were once brought within an inch of life or sanity by one of the specimens. Which and how did it get the edge on you?
The creature tied to the element of water is a very strange combination of. It's actually a miniature kraken. We would call it an octopus, but it
Hmm.
is specifically a miniature kraken. And the thing that makes it different than a normal octopus is they are very clever, very long lived, and extremely aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And Hijack once underestimated a uh, a miniature kraken, thinking it was just a run of the mill octopus. It was not, and it almost drowned him.
Hmm. Um, as you pass that, and shudder a bit, you are here looking for some type of like secret passage, for that Stugg Kibeo uses. How are you approaching this?
There must be a zookeeper, perhaps a veterinarian, somebody who would interface with Stug about these creatures.
Yeah. Um, I think you do bump into exactly that type of person. And they um, they also seem to look kind of down on their luck, slightly disheveled, has these tired, raw eyes. Their arm is in a sling. And um, you approach them. I don't know if you're kind of seeing like, oh, this is somebody who looks a little desperate, or if, yeah, what it is about them that attracts you, other than they are a zoologic elementorium keeper.
Desperate is something I can work with, so that seems like a good lead. And Carlisle would approach and looking at the arm in a sling, say, "Oh, did you get on the wrong side of that miniature kraken?"
Oh, unfortunately, wrong side of something much worse than a kraken or a fire condor or whatever we're calling the rock monsters these days. Stug just brought them from their planet and didn't tell us what they're called. He calls them stony folk. I don't know if that's the biological name for them. I don't know.
Judging by your outfit and that badge. I would think you'd be the person to ask about these things.
And yeah, the badge is a much higher rank than what you would think of a zookeeper would have. Um, and he kind of looks and he's like, "Oh God, yeah, yeah, I was. This is the wrong badge. Sorry, sorry." And he pulls out another one, and it's just like he takes whatever this like you might recognize like some type of like commanding like officer type of badge and puts it in his pocket and replaces it with a much simpler one. If we think of like those like badges from Star Wars, there's like or like any military badge, right? There's lots of dots and lots of stars and bars. And he has replaced it with just a very simple one. And he's like, yeah, like I just had to take this job because um things are really catching up on me.
I wouldn't expect to see a Master Admiral at Arms in such a position. It's strange the way things work here.
It is, it is. There's just so much to that you can get sucked into. You go on a streak, you go on a hot streak and everything's feeling great and all of a sudden it slips away and I just I just really need I don't know, 10 more credit and I think I could make that a million easily. Easily. Surefire bet.
Surefire bet, you say?
Surefire. No issues whatsoever. That that skiff is whoo. Everyone is counting down on that thing, or that they're just not giving it the credit it deserves. But when it hits those straightaways, whoo, it's gonna zip right past that Skull Star. You wouldn't believe it.
Well, you look like a trustworthy sort of person, and I happen to have some credits burning a hole in my pocket, and I like a surefire thing.
I mean, I'll cut you in. You want to take 10% of the winnings?
Perhaps we have a different arrangement. I would like to meet Mr. Cabello.
Oh, interesting. And you don't want any of the winnings.
I'll take some of the winnings, but also Stugg Kibeo.
So 5% we're talking here?
5% sounds grand.
5% sounds grand to me. That's just about a grand. Um, no, it's a little bit more. Yeah. This'll work. You got 10 credit, right?
Yes.
Um, can you give it to me now? I would love to just I'd love to just spot you, but things are really tense right now. I got 12 mouths to feed at home and four of them are on one kid and times are just tough.
Would 10 credits be a thing that someone could be expected to have?
I think so. Like it's yeah. I I feel like for you it would probably not be that much. But yeah, I don't know. A credit is probably a drink, so uh it's not like it's nothing. But yeah.
Yeah, why don't we make it 20? And this sure thing becomes a little more sure.
I I love it. And you just want to meet Stugg Kibeo.
Ideally, inside his territory.
Hmm. Um, roll a collection here for me with reason.
That is two ones.
Um, I think what's going to happen here, well, first of all, it's two ones, so the watch will go up. And by one. Um, the I think he's just gonna take the 20 credits and essentially like run. Um, and I think that to further complicate it, like he's going to let Stugg know that there's some newcomer who wants to meet with him. There's people poking around, or there's someone poking around that wants his audience. But I don't think that this is, yeah, the kind of attention that you want. Um, so you would take the condition here, like, um, uh, I don't know. We'll just do, for the sake of simplicity, like the marked by Stugg Kibeo.
Or could I
Or
use one of my bona fides?
you could, or there could be a bond I used, but yeah.
Bond die would bump me up
From,
to 6 and
I don't know
2,
if
which would
there's,
be 8.
there would need to be,
Because
yeah, does somebody have a six with you? I think would be the,
I have a 5 and my reason is +2, so that would get me to.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll do that. Let's.
Well, someone else needs to offer you that
Oh,
die,
I see. I see.
and
So
then they'll
what's the
replace
minimum
one of the
value you need?
ones. 3,
Minimum would be
4,
5.
Yeah,
nope,
Four.
I
plus
gave you
2.
a 6.
So that would make it a 9. Um, how, Fix, have you prepared Hijack for this moment in some way?
All right, we always share our first worst thought, which is at some point you're probably going to need to knock somebody out. This is just how these things go. Like he gave him some sort of quick acting anesthetic, like a patch you can slap on someone and say, now they might get 3 to 5 steps away from you. So just be aware of that. Do not use it near inclines or drop offs, nowhere without a guardrail. Would that work?
I appreciate that. Yeah. So as the fellow starts to walk away with the credits, I think Carlisle will just approach, put an arm around his shoulders so that when he slumps, uh, Carlisle can just keep walking. And hopefully no one notices.
Um, I think in the process here, you you will grab that badge that he had slipped into his pocket. Um, you it is a high-ranking security badge, or it functions as a high-ranking security badge. However, I think one of the things that you realize about it as you obtain it is that it is 2 days expired. This guy has been fired from his previous role. So you do have this badge that certainly looks like it's like a high-profile Admiral of the Kibeo Syndicate badge. Um, and um, he, yeah, we'll leave it there for now. We'll cut over to Leland. Leland heading into the Witch and the Why, um, which does not have the thes attached, but I just did a very Criterion City thing where we just randomly add thes to the front of the titles of things. You walk in. Describe a little bit what this place looks like.
Um, it is Y-shaped, hence the
Hmm.
Y in the name.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Um, both vertically and horizontally. It's a very interesting feat of architecture here. Um, and only made possible, of course, through the power of space witchcraft.
Hmm.
Um, the warlocks here are of various breed of species. The clientele here is varied. It's mixed. It's a bit of a dive bar because the warlocks here who run the bar don't charge a lot in the way of credits. They are a bit more interested in um, more esoteric currency.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But the cocktails here are fabulous. You might say they're made with magic and a little bit of love. Um, but mostly magic. Um,
Hmm.
and lots of robes. There's lots of robes here.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Sorry, important clarifying question. How much dry ice used in the cocktails?
None. Again, it's magic. So
Fantastic.
yeah. Um, it's all sort of just self-generating. But yeah, Leland will just sort of mosey in. He feels a little bit naked not having a robe. Uh,
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, but I mean, he's also wearing, a really dashing cobalt blue jumpsuit, flight suit. And yeah, he'll just sort of stride up towards the bar, just, do like a little hand pat on the bar, waiting
Hmm.
for one of the bartenders to come through. And he'll scope out the crowd to see if anyone looks like they might have like a badge or anything kind of like official, like uniform or something.
Yeah, I think that you would see some Cabello Syndicate members here. They generally are wearing like pressed clothing. They have very well crafted arms and they all like have these earpiece comms. Um, and but they have sort of like these like cheap like robes that they've just like thrown over in order to like fit the aesthetic of the bar. They're chatting amongst each other. And as you are waiting for a bartender, there is a very tall individual seated at the bar stool next to where you are, who looks over you with um, his bright yellow eyes, and he has like a bird beak as well. He is a Peri, which are this race of bird people. And they have he's not wearing a robe, but he's like has his wings wrapped around him like it would be a robe. And is just has a whole stack of empty shot glasses in front of him. Um, and a few full ones as well. And he actually like slides one over to you and says, "Yeah, they are very busy keeping up the magic here."
It's all a bit daft, isn't it? These robes, this witchiness. Yeah, I don't really believe in none of it myself. I know it was real, but I just don't believe in it.
It's worth believing in something, I suppose. It gives us purpose in this grand void of space.
I guess I'd drink to that, and he'll take up the shot and clunk it against the bar and toss it back.
Yeah, and this Perry knocks two back for the one that you have and says, "Pretty ambitious there. Here, take another one."
What is this? Space piss?
Yes, actually, yes. It's the
Oh,
good stuff, though.
oh, it's something, all right.
Straight
Oh,
from the straight from the Kraken's mouth when it comes down to it.
oh, like a big kraken or like one of them teacup size.
One of the big ones could certainly devour a man
Oh, ugh.
if they were not smart enough to get loose of its hold.
I was almost got devoured by one once.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, well, I met her at a bar, and it was a whole thing.
Oh, it was a wet bar, I assume.
Yeah, very wet.
You look like the kind of say, wait a second. Leland Zero?
Well, I mean, I don't like to brag, but who's asking?
Um, Velvet Ashes.
The Velvet Ashes?
The Velvet Ashes. Velvet Ashes is a celebrity bounty hunter who is, I think you would know, a bit down on their luck these days. But yeah, is famous for taking out high profile targets.
I'm gonna say, you're a bit something of a big inspiration to me and my crew. What are you doing here, though? Wetting your beak in this kind of dump.
Oh, I'm honored. I'm honored. But yeah, I killed nine kings in eight cycles and didn't really consider that that'd come back to bite me.
Well, none of us
Oops.
do. Just kind of, in it for the thrill, right?
So now just trying to lay low, stay hidden. Can't get a job to save my life because if I were to take a job, it would probably cost my life.
Well, there's something we've said about, the last one, the big one, the one that sends you off to the Rainbow Bridge and all that.
Um, and I think in this moment, there is a crowd of robed figures that have maybe four or five of them that have approached and take off their hoods. And they are syndicate members, and they say, well, 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 if it isn't Velvet Ashes. And oh my, is that Leland Zero?
Who wants to know?
The syndicate is taking you both under its hold.
Now,
And
why is
they've
that?
pulled out their ray gun blasters and are holding them to you.
What do I do?
Oh, you have quite the bounty on your head, sir. Not quite as much as Velvet here, but still quite a bit.
So what are you gonna do? Take us to Stugg Kibeo?
No, no, we're taking you someplace much worse than Stugg Kibeo.
I'd rather just go to Stugg then.
No, you can't just go to Stugg. No, 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 no. That's not
But
how
but why
these.
not? I mean,
Uh,
this is his planet, really. Wouldn't he
it,
wanted to see that you've got us?
um, roll a diversion with presence here.
All right, it's gonna be a 9.
A nine. Okay. I it's just I mean he's so busy. He's the leader of all of this. Like we can't take you to him.
Too
Like
busy
every
to too busy to see the Velvet Ashes. I mean, really.
you
I mean, this
raise
is
a
a once in a
fair
lifetime
point.
score.
If it was one or the other of you, this might not make sense. If it's both of you, that might elevate to a Stug Cabello level. That seems fair. That uh,
I mean, it's a twofer.
it is a twofer. You do
And
raise.
Stugg loves a bargain.
He does love. Mesta. I was just going to take him to the prison. Should we take him to Stug Cabello? Like it's a twofer. Yeah, yeah, it's a twofer. Like I don't understand. I mean, they're raising good. If Velvet wants to go that way, I mean, we've heard from Leland here. We haven't heard from Velvet.
Bevel will go, right? We'll go.
Uh, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
It's
See, yeah, come on. Let's make this fun.
All right, let's. I guess we're gonna go find Stugg Kibeo. Should we cuff them?
Can
Yeah,
we
we should.
can we
We
bring
should.
their drinks?
We should. Yeah, you can bring your drinks, but we need your hands behind your back. Let's like cuff you. Like I don't know exactly how this is going to work. Take the condition in custody. And you are being escorted away here. We are going to cut back over. Actually, let me take 5 minutes here. And kind of like piece together where we are and what will happen next. We are back. We're going to go to Trungatort and Jane Doe 2.0 within the old jail. Trunga is kind of like frozen. And in that moment, um, that person that you know, Bor Oran, um, walks up and says, and kind of like pats uh, Trunga on one of his auxiliary muscles, and says, "It's okay, Trunga. I can take care of this one." And she just kind of gives you this like menacing stare. Uh, can't I, Jane?
Hmm. Hi, Oren. Surprised to
It's
see you still here.
it's been a while, hasn't it?
There's been a lot of changes in our lives.
So I see. You're not going to try and use those things on me, are you?
Not if you don't give me reason to.
You do a lot of things without reason, don't you, Jane?
Unfortunately, my reason stat is very low.
I don't understand what's going on here. Um, but all that said, I've decided. That's good, Trunga. That's very good. Good. Excellent. You've made a decision. That's very important to be the boss of Criterions. It is. It is very important. Bor, you will escort Jane Doe to the wall. It's what she cares about more than anything else. I can tell. I can see it in her eyes. I can sense it from her teeth. That piercing that wall is all that she desires. Is that not true, Jane Doe?
You are once again correct, my friend. This is what makes you such a strong leader.
Very, very good, Trunka. Very, very good. Um, and he says, "You can take this. It's the one thing that I know will break that wall." And you see a piston gauntlet that can break stone.
Ooh.
Um, Go ahead. You can take it. You can lift it, right? You're a robot. Like that's it's a heavy thing, but
I lifted and fitted over my robotic hand.
it's pretty heavy, even for your mechanical side of things.
Yeah, I think you
And
can hear like the screech of metal on metal.
mhm, mhm. Um, and he says, if she does anything other than break that wall, bring her back here.
I care about one thing and one thing only, my friend, and that's breaking that wall. Thank you. If you ever need anything from me, I've got your back.
I appreciate it. Know that Trunga Tort will rule Criterion City. Already does rule Criterion City, if you ask anyone, really. Anyone but Stugg Kibeo and the Syndicate. But yeah. Um, but yeah, you will have Bor Oran accompanying you throughout the rest of this heist.
Right on. Yeah, I think as we walk away, I say to Bororan, so you are the puppet master behind this, I see.
Chunga's not the brightest.
A lot of muscles, though.
A lot, a lot of muscles. Far too many muscles.
A lot of blood pumping through those muscles.
I suppose. I don't know why that's relevant here.
Hmm, just a comment, just an observation.
Hmm. Hmm. Um.
No hard feelings between us, of course.
Oh, plenty of hard feelings between us when it
Huh.
comes down to it. Yeah. Watch your back, Jane.
I flip my cape a little.
We have some unresolved issues that I think will be resolved by the time this wall falls.
You've always been one to hold grudges.
Oh, I do a lot more with grudges than hold them.
Hmm.
And we cut over to Fix and Dr. Quantum strolling through the mist, through the haze of the Port Club's plaza. What are you talking about, Fix?
I'm trying to use my under the knife move by talking Dr. Quantum into accepting an ancillary pinky operation to improve her scalpel handling.
Hmm. Do you want to read this move for us so that we can understand how it works?
I would be happy to. So, when I suggest to a character that I can solve one of their problems with a body modification, and if the keeper, who's very wise, decides that this character accepts my offer, I get to roll with collection. If I get a hit in addition to the standard receiving of some sort of flaw or exploit from the move itself, I get an extra benefit, which is as soon as I can establish like a safe operating theater and can do this operation for the character who's accepted, they will owe me a favor that will in some way utilize their new improved self. So the character and their improvement gets listed as a flaw itself.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think as you are like discussing, like Dr. Quantum is intrigued by this,
Mhm.
and says, you know, if it doesn't work out, I can always take it off. I've got that skill, but it would be interesting to see your work up close.
Fantastic. Do you have a space that we can work in?
I
I know
do.
you
It's
prefer
across
street
town,
theater.
though. It is across town. It would be quite a walk.
Well, maybe they have one of those rental offices here in this part of the district. Let me check the app and see if I can book something.
Hmm.
Well, now I'm not getting a lot of pings. Is there not a lot of medical practices in this particular neighborhood in Criterion City?
Um, y- yeah, I mean that's part of the issue that I run into, and again, like I've made the case here for why we need to act quickly, as opposed to precisely.
I'm I'm starting to see how you've ended up performing most of your surgeries ad hoc and hit the street with
I
unsuspecting patients.
I wouldn't really call it ad hoc, but yes, yeah.
Okay, let's go across town. And I have not yet reached the level of expertise where I'm willing to do it here out in the open as you do. Perhaps someday I will have that level of confidence, but for now, I'm going to accept my limitations and try and find us someplace sterile.
Roll collection here
All right,
with reason.
sure. What the hell? That's another two ones. This whole thing is cursed.
Um, I think what happens here is that you have felt like you were putting um, Dr. Quantum under the knife, but she is bringing you back to her laboratory, where I think that she's going to procure some of those clean, fresh organs that you have that are not yet infiltrated with the dust and microbes here in the base of Criterion City.
And I haven't even paid all these off. Uh, so the nice thing is, if someone gets me a bond die and it's replacing a roll, nope, sorry, wrong stat. I really thought I had a bonus there. I'm probably just gonna have to use my last bona fides to get out of this. So many to choose from.
You could, another option would be like the crew could replace each of your dice if there is enough between two
Mm-hmm.
players.
I could help with that. I have a 5.
I've got a 3.
Better than mine.
Um, we just need to know how you have prepared, or maybe how you even show up and get Fix out of this situation as he is being drawn into uh, Dr. Quantum's sinister den of surgery.
I think I have Gerald flying around the city, keeping an eye on everyone. And Gerald is the one that lets Hijack know that Fix is in trouble.
And then what if Carlisle shows up wearing his name was Crest
Craston? Yeah, we didn't talk about that on
Craston.
camera. Craston Brandt.
Wearing Craston Brandt's uniform with Craston Brandt in his clothes, looking urgently for a doctor for this man who just passed out. Dr. Quantum, please help. Seen the billboards.
Oh, you've seen the billboards. I've invested so much in them. I do surgeries for free.
And this man surely needs a
Smiles.
free surgery. He's skint.
Fantastic. Well, let's all four of us go back to my lab.
That seems unhygienic.
It's the most hygienic. That's how I've built it, and the surgery's free. I'll fix this guy right up. Then
Dr.
afterwards,
Quant
we're going to add an extra pinky onto my hand.
Dr. Quantum, if I may, I'd be happy to do the sort of entrance testing, blood typing, etc., for this nice good Samaritan who's come along, just to keep them out of your hair so that you can concentrate. And then later, of course, maybe we'll do the pinky, and then we'll maybe something else. Will he's kind of like winking and pointing the hijack to indicate maybe this guy's got the organs you need, but give me some time to like screen him. You know what we
He
talked about earlier. He winks, and then some high pitched tinny music like an oud starts playing, something vaguely Egyptian, until he's closing the eye again and trying to hold it shut until it turns back off into sleep mode. And you, of course, stranger, thank you so much for the good deed that you've done, bringing this afflicted young person to us. We'll get all that taken care of. If you would just come aside with me, and we'll do all the introductory paperwork. I'll try and steer
certainly.
Hijack away from Dr. Quantum.
A little bird told me you were having trouble.
Yes, I have met a very strange individual.
Have you ever met a normal one?
Well, now, okay, let me think. Wow, you've really put the screws to me with this particular question. Have I ever? Well, there was. Well, no, now that I think about it, I think you're right. No. Have you had any luck?
Potentially, this man has some credentials that could come in handy if they weren't expired. I don't suppose you're any good at doctoring paperwork.
Not unless you want that paperwork to have an ancillary pinky or an extra kidney. There seem to be so many of them around.
I stepped on one on the way here, in the gutter.
It seems to be the way they do things here. I'm learning so much about Criterion City, their approach to medicine.
Well, that man works at the menagerie, the elemental zoo, uh, and perhaps there might be a way through the wall.
Dr.
Well, that's
Quantum has started
yeah.
just like doing things to Creston Brandt right here on the street.
I have to say, your plan sounds much better than the lead that I was following. Shall we away?
I believe so, yes.
We'll be right back, Dr. Quantum. Please keep that scalpel warm for us.
The man does have children. Perhaps leave the vitals.
um, and you all head off?
One question.
Yeah.
Does providing this former Master Admiral at Arms
Uh-huh.
meet the requirements of the task to find organs for Dr. Quantum?
Ooh. I would say it does. Yeah, I'm good resolving that in that way. Let's cut over then to where is making moves, keeper, its conditions, what are task conditions, and that's where we get the rule. Uh, ba, 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 ba. Task conditions. The reward for this is to yeah, roll 2d6 on this to determine how this turns out.
Two different dice.
That's fair.
5 and a 2.
5 and 2, nice. 7.
7.
So you clear the task condition and choose one reward. Unless you have a way to bump this up. You can gain 1 XP, receive a flaw or exploit, reduce watch by 1 tick, or gain evidence. Oh, it's only on 12 plus that you gain evidence of the Galactic Overlord. So what do you want to choose there?
Uh, where are we at with watch? Because I did just bump it up
Um,
again
but
with my double one
you all
roll.
wiped away both of the ones with the double bond dice. So,
Technically, they didn't ever exist.
mhm,
I'll take a flaw exploit then.
cool. Um, I think um, I think Dr. Quantum says, you know what? These I am given the disarray, the dishevelness that this particular individual is in. I'm quite surprised by the quality of his organs. He has kept his innards quite clean, and I think he will be of great use once he is healed up and feeling better from this terrible affliction of knocked outedness that he has suffered. But why don't you all just come back to my laboratory and we can square these things away?
I must get back to work at the elemental terrarium.
Oh, that's fair. That is what it's called.
And I do believe this fixed stitch that I have never met prior to now might be able to assist me with a curiosity regarding the teacup kraken.
Ah, well, duty calls. Perhaps at some later time, Dr. Quantum. After all, I do know how to find you. Your contact information is on so many billboards.
Well, I would watch out if you're headed back to the Elementorium. There is a lightning storm in the forecast. It should be rolling in any hour now.
Thanks for the heads up.
That place is just rife with those lightning strikes.
Thank you for the notice. I'll have to get the fire condors protections in place. They're very skittish around thunder.
And as the flaw that you obtain here, there's a lightning storm in the weather forecast. Fix, if you ever go to Dr. Quantum's lab, there is a under the knife procedure that is waiting for you there. Let's cut over to Leland to finish things out here. Leland, you Velvet Ashes are being escorted out of the bar. And I think like towards the zoologic elementorium. And there's a big crowd that's gathering. And these syndicate members who have been escorting you say, I it's going to be easier to just meet him here. Like they're talking through this. And you're overhearing them as you have blasters pointed at you still and are cuffed. Take the condition of handcuffed here. Did I give you I don't think I give you a condition off the roll. Or
You
did
gave
I?
me in custody as a
Oh, okay. So
condition.
in custody, handcuffed, same thing. Cool. So you're in custody here, and you hear like cheers. And you see confetti getting blasted up into the air. And there's a parade coming through past the zoologic elementorium. And you see on the top of like one of these levitating speeders is in fact Stugg Kibeo, the boss. You can tell from a distance, debonair, daring, dangerous. He has a thick mustache, a paper thin leather cape, and a hawk-like poise. And he is standing aboard the float. There are syndicate guards all around. And he's just waving at the people, and there is cheering. It seems a little false, a little reluctant, a little staged, but Stugg Kibeo is certainly taking it all in. Um, and the float, the speeder, the floating speeder, the speeder float that is coming by you. Passes, and as it does, these guards kind of like make a signal, and you can see that he kind of gets a stern look in his face and looks over, and he sees Velvet Ashes, and he smiles, and then he looks over at you and kind of looks a little puzzled. And the two of you are escorted up to him, and you see some conversation between Stugg and one of these guards, and finally they kind of like wave you over. Velvet is kind of standing back, and Stugg looks at you and says, "So they tell me you're Leland Zero.
They have told you correctly.
A bit of a specimen, aren't you?"
That's that is what they told you, isn't it?
Hmm. I'll give you the same time I give anyone who gets this close. One sentence. Speak it. I will listen, and then you will die. And with that, we will end our session.
Little does he know, I've got death insurance.
Just a
uh,
run-on sentence.
Yeah, there's lots of hyphenates, lots of semicolons and em dashes.
let's roll into stars and wishes then.
Stars for everyone. I know it's been hard to get scheduling, and we've all been busy, and things have just been a little hectic for some of us. But stars for everyone making it to the table today, because I know how hard it is to do that, and it's just always a joy to play with all of you. I'm really liking the new playbook for Fix. It works very, very well, not just because of the name, Fix, Stitch, and Fix, but it seems like it's very well suited for this kind of campaign, to have a more medical minded creature. And I really like that you're playing along the oh my God, I can't word right now. The playing along with the machine versus personhood thing, because normally it would probably be the machina that does that, but Jane Doe is a vampire now, and it's more about vampire versus machine. So it's fun to have that sort of juxtaposition of an actual machine who's not a human and a person who is a human who is kind of machiney. It's just a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I just I'm just having a lot of fun. I don't have any particular stars aside from this was a great session. I'm loving all the side characters. There's so many side characters in this one. You're really doing a great job, Mike, with keeping a handle on everything. So I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, I haven't played this heist before. So yeah, start for this. It's lots of really great side characters. The the weird custodian with the six mouths to feed, but four of them on one child. That was a good one. Yeah, just lots of this Dr. Quana with the falling kidneys start a bend for having stepped on one on the way to rescue Fix. Um, uh, yeah, no, good to be back, obviously. And just yeah, like a really fun setting. Very flavorful. Yeah, it's just it's very like a really interesting contrast between this and Blood Banks. Um, uh, Also like I love Chunga, like in love with them. You mean this like giant bodybuilder who's Donald Ducking it in the galaxy? Yeah, I'm here for it. Um, yeah, curious about what this rivalry with Jane and Boro, what's the name? Orobon,
Bor Orin.
Bororin.
We had a whole
Um,
pronunciation discussion on how to make it work.
yeah, curious about where that goes. As Wish. Uh, just sort of a general thing, because I loved when there was that little bit in the overture where Carlisle sort of like took over and like did like the dramatic spinning in the chair. Um, so I'd love to see some more of that kind of, I guess, Machiavellianness come out
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
of Carlyle, because I know he's scheming. So I want to see more of those schemes come together. Yeah. Other than just sort of a general wish, just wanting to see more of what the fixed stitch is, because it's new, obviously. And so I want to see more of that in play. I like what I've seen so far. I just want to see more of it. And yeah, I think that's it for me. Good time though. I am very curious to see if I die next time.
Yeah, I think that's a big wish for me is for somebody to die and see how this death insurance plays out. For sure. I'm glad that's in play. Yeah, it stars everybody for like jumping back in. Everything is, yeah, fun. I think that it's, yeah, like you all had like very like clear ideas of like what kinds of like side characters you wanted to dig into, and like even like um Ben, like the one of the assets is a secret tunnel. So the fact that like you had called that out, I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. It has definitely like spun in a different direction from that. But yeah, I liked the sort of like the direction that everyone was going in, and then like being able to find like the right side character to like facilitate the things that you were all looking for was a lot of fun. I really liked the double Bondi use was a lot of fun. Having the vulture sweep around and then like bringing Carlisle in with the body, I thought was, yeah, like really clever and fun moment to play with. And this sort of like awkward exchange of like figuring out Dr. Quantum wants more than which is fairly apparent that she wants more than just to play around with surgery and fix this guy up. So that tension was a lot of fun. I um, this is the first time I'm bringing Stugg Kibeo into the perimeter. So yeah, like it was Jack, like you just like, and Carlisle was doing this too, but just being like really directive, like I want to meet Stugg Kibeo, like get me to Stugg Kibeo, like I think opens up the opportunity here, and adds this like more dramatic like tension right out of the gate of like, yeah, here's the boss character, like he's not hidden behind a gate, but he is still very dangerous to yeah, play around with. And then the multiple layers of like who controls the underground within Criterion City has been fun to play with. Trunga is a new character the to the set of side characters. So testing him out for the first time has been fun. And then to with Amanda create this true power behind the throne in Bor Orin is going to be interesting. Still, obviously figuring out exactly how that plays out, that kind of thing. Yeah, and that's kind of like my personal wish is just that we're back after a month. It always like takes me a session to like warm back up into like keeperism. And so yeah, like I was a little slow on things with this one, but I can kind of feel it coming back. So just the wish that we have that continuity going and can speed through some stuff here. That's what I got.
I will say that yeah, it was great getting back to it and to see this feels like a very different heist than what we've seen before, and it's nice to see the contrasts available in the game. And I've never done this, so it's exciting. The NPCs and especially Trunga Tort were just so good today, Mike. The introduction of Trunga and his voice was a highlight. I noted that down. Michael, the introduction of a doctor-patient confidentiality field. I love that. It's the just imaginative little things you just toss in there that become canon in this world are a lot of fun and great. And it was good to have that little scene with Fix at the end there. And Jack, Batworm governess, did not see that coming. That was just, yep. It explains a lot about Leland, I think. Really helps us understand him. And Amanda, I had to write down, I contain multitudes, or at least two.
Mhm.
That was so great. And then the lampshade with the reason stat, but especially bringing the vulture back into play twice and having them play a role here in that the bond dice was very clever, and I liked that very much. Looking forward to seeing how this shakes out, as mentioned, but also looking forward to seeing how Leland dies and then copes with the death insurance and what that does to a traveler.
And so many stars have already been named, so I'll try and pick out ones that I don't think have been grabbed yet. Naming creatures muffin tops and the contrast with Bone Cruncher to locals was so fun. I had to write that one down. It was followed up with Leland claiming that Leland has delicious bones. Make sure that explains a lot. Uh, uh, Jack, I got to give a star for which and why being Y shaped on both axes because I could see both Amanda and I pausing for a bit trying to figure out how that works. And hand waving it away with magic. Absolutely fantastic. Um, I have played Stub Cabello, and it is fantastic to see how far it has evolved from its initial version. The new NPCs, even ones that I thought I knew, are feeling like they have a whole new life. Criterion City is just such a fun area to play around in, and yeah, the theme difference going from gothic vampires and tourists to warring where like crime is the law is one of my favorite weird settings where it's like it's illegal not to be a criminal. So loving the vibes. I also wrote down just improvising Master Admiral at arms at the moment for the former job of recognizing what this guy's badge meant was fantastic. Velvet Ashes claiming that they've killed 9 kings in 8 cycles, and that being the source of their problems. Like, that'll do it. Yep. Man, just so much good stuff. It's a great crew to be playing with. Super glad that I keep getting brought back. So I'm trying to figure out who Fix is, but I could just, my North Star is the clonical oath. So as long as I'm staying true to that, we'll stay true to the character. Oh, I guess a wish for myself to not have the cowardice hangover of the missed roll because we did fix it insofar as I think it's the player who wanted to get away from Dr. Quantum, and I really should go back and actually finish my under the knife move that I started and paid for. I should go get the thing. So a wish is for Fix to turn around and finish that scene, despite being increasingly horrified by Dr. Quantum.
Another wish I have is to figure out how to get Fix to break the clonical oath.
The Clonical Oath is the rules for the fix stitches that exists both in the fiction as well as for the players themselves. So that's the rules of death insurance are the Clonical Oath. The same thing that is abided by the character. Was kind of a fun way that we came up with to reduce the amount of rules by just
Mhm.
making them a fictional inset. So, yeah. Well, thank you everyone. As always, we'll wave goodbye to the people at home, and that's the end.